All right, everybody. So today I will be focusing on this weed, and we're going to dive deeper into this variety of Oxalis. So if you want to weed with purpose, please continue to watch. All right, so before we head on to pull that weed out in the hot sun, let's go over what a definition of a weed is. There's just so many different opinions about weeds in general. Some people don't think anything might be a weed. Some people think that a weed is a plant in the wrong location. Some people might think a weed is a plant that is, taking over. It's multiplying very rapidly, is growing very rapidly, and is taking over their garden. And in my case, because my gardens are still growing, weeds that I have are plants that have made their way into my garden uninvited. Now, these are plants that I did not buy at all. They came uninvited in my garden through different ways. And because of that, they are here to stay uninvited. And I just have to learn how to manage them a lot better. So this year I have been weeding more weeding more carefully with purpose. And what I mean with purpose is that whenever I see a weed now, I will make sure that I know whether it's an annual or a perennial. I want to know its growth habit, how it spreads, etc. So that way, once I pull out that particular clump or that particular plant that I consider a weed, I know that it's not going to come back. And it has worked out pretty good for me so far. And I know that, there's always going to be new weeds. Like, we have a huge lawn area. We don't use herbicide or anything like that. So whatever is growing in our lawn will eventually show up in our garden beds here. So my job is to know the life cycle of these weeds and make sure that I am controlling them as best as I can. So it's less work on me. And I know that at this time of the year in the spring, we get busy as gardeners. We don't have time to be weeding or any of that, such as myself. But I do have weeds. I still have a growing garden, and because of that, I have less plants or fewer plants than a veteran gardeners would have, or someone with a smaller space might have. So because of that, there are more space for these weeds to come into my gardens and make their homes there uninvited again. All right, so the weed that I am going to be pulling out today is down that way. I have left a few clumps there, just doing its thing, so that way I could show you how I go about weeding it and how I go about preventing it from coming back. Here's one clump. Here is a few more clumps with this spotted spurge, which I'm going to pull out because we talked about that. I'm going to pull it out right away. All right, so this weed is a perennial weed in my garden, which means it is here year-round. It's considered an Oxalis. I don't know the exact variety of it, but it doesn't matter. You could Google like red Oxalis weed or whatever, and this would come up. It's also called, some kind of clover. So it really doesn't matter. All you have to know is that if it's something you don't want, then it's growing like crazy. Of course, it's considered a weed in your garden. I think it's pretty much a weed in a lot of people's gardens, so be on the lookout for this. It has yellow flower and it grows in a clumping habit. I've read that also that it's spread by a rhizome as well. I am not sure about that. It's a possibility, but all I know is whatever I pulled back there that I showed you earlier, most of it, I would say 99% of it, did not come back. So it's a possibility that it could be spread by rhizome, but for our purpose here, it doesn't matter. All I know is that I pulled this out before, and I've been successful with it. So it does have horizontal roots, so that could possibly be why it's considered having rhizomes, and it also has a tap root. So now when you pull it out, see, it's coming out easily like this, and you think that you have it all, you're not going to have it all. See that it breaks off? And if you're busy and you're just weeding away, you might think that you have it all pulled out, but in actuality you might not have it pulled out. So you see there, so we're gonna go underneath and see the rest of the root. I am pretty sure this is pretty big, so I know that the root is going to be a lot deeper and a lot more substantial than this. And it's actually worse than the root system. It's actually worse than those clovers from my experience. All right, I apologize for the lighting if it's not too good. So let's see, and the bad angle right there. So let's see what happens when I go deeper. I hear something cracking, so here's the rest of it. Is there some more of it? All right, here it is. All right, do you see all that? That came out. So I know that I got most of it. I might have a few that are lingering on. Here's another one. A good thing to do after you do this is to mulch this area. So let's put it back. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put this weed like right here, because I want to make sure that I know that I pulled this particular weed out and that it's going to not come back here. And if it comes back, I know that I didn't pull it out all the way or all of it completely. So we're gonna do that and leave it there. And now you don't want it to go to seed, so it's already flowering. So once it produces seeds, then it's going to spread all around here. So it is going to die. I'm going to set it upside down, which is probably better, and it's going to get baked in the hot sun. So let's go and do this one. All right, while I'm here, I'm just going to pull out this. Again, just going to leave it. I just leave it around here. I don't have to leave in the exact same location. Just leave it around there so I know that I pulled out that weed. And I want to see if it's going to come back in this general area. All right. Hopefully my phone is not going to get overheated. So let's go. So what I do is I go deep down. Earlier, I wanted you to see what happens when you just pull it out. So here I went deeper. And it sounded like I broke some. All right, so now we're just going to, here it is. So I just kind of like keep going until it's easy to pull out. So that way I know that I'm getting most of it. See there? Same thing with this. I'm gonna lay it upside down. Try not to go close to it, but just around where you think, maybe like an inch, depending on how thick you think the roots are spreading. I hope you can hear the crackling that I'm hearing. So maybe it's correct that it is by rhizome. So I see one here, and it's spreading right there. And then I have another plant come out. So it does spread by rhizome as well, and it clumps up as well. So here is a good way for you to know that it does spread by rhizome. So it went from one plant, sent out that runner, and then it produced another plant. Hopefully I got it all out. And again, I'm just going to leave it here and then just wait to see if I get the same ones coming up. So hopefully I got that all done. I see another one right there. All right, I'm gonna start over here and let's see if it goes through this one. Looks like it may be. Kind of broke off. The fact that I see one plant and then a little bit, farther along, I see another one, that's a good, I guess it's a good way to know that it could be produced by an underground rhizome. So here are all the clumps, and I'm not expecting them or most of them to come back. And if they do, I will get to it as soon as I can. If you do have this oxalis in your garden and you consider it a weed, let me know what your tips and tricks are for managing it really well. And if you're a new gardener and you didn't know that this is a weed, we're not saying, or I'm not saying that it is a weed in your garden. Just make sure that you keep an eye on it, and if it's taking over your space, then it's likely is a weed in your garden, and find out if it's an annual or a perennial. That will help you to tackle it a lot better, whether you can wait a little bit or get it out as soon as you can. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video enjoyable and helpful, and until my next video, take care and bye for now.
It's me, the Mario. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe and ring the notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any more content.